Project 2-4, drawing a door. In this project, we're going to draw this door shape shown here. We're going to save the drawing as Chapter 2-P4. Units are architectural. Drawing limits 8.5 by 11 inches. Grid display is set at 0. Our grid is set at 1/4 inch. Our snap is set at 1/8. And we can create the layers on our own. So the drawing looks basically like a door, and the way they have this is that it's set up at a scale of 1 inch equals a 1 inch, and I believe that should be 1 inch equals a foot if you're to use an architectural scale to measure it. To get started on this project, we're going to go into D2L, and we have a template set up for you. And so we'll go over to our exercise template, which is right here. We'll download that, and then we'll open that. This is a warning. It basically says that it was produced by a student version. And so when a drawing is produced on a student version, when you print the drawing, it says student version. And so you do want to be a little careful about bringing home any work material and using a student version on it, as it will attach this kind of stamp to it. So we'll go ahead and open that, and then for this extra references we'll ignore that. That's not important at this time. And so what we have here is we have this layer that's locked, and that's what I can see. It's locked when I hover over it. And so we can use whatever layer we want. If we want, we can create a new layer. If I toggle over here, I can choose a different layer. I'm going to choose this furniture layer, and you'll see that it rises to the top. The color says by layer. I'm going to check my grid and my snap by going to tools. Now, if you do not see the menu bar, then you need to click on this downward arrow, and you need to show the menu bar. I'll hide it, and then I'll come back here and I'll show the menu bar. And what that does is it gives you access to the commands with words on it, kind of the older school way of using the interface. The newer way is with this ribbon and with these tabs. We're going to use the Draw tab on the Home tab, and we're going to use the Line command. Before we do, we're going to check our drafting settings by going to Tools, Drafting Settings, and work these tabs from left to right. Snap is on, grid is on, snap is set at 1/8, and grid is set at 1/4. Polar tracking is enabled, and object snaps are on. Now, we don't really need the object snaps, so I'm going to take them off because we're using grid and snap. I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to start with a line. And you'll notice that the cursor moves in little increments like that. So if I go and I bring it to this point right here, and I click, and then I drive that up, I can drive that up 7 inches, and then I can drive this over 3 inches, drive it down, drive it back. Then to pick up the cursor, I can right mouse click and select enter or cancel. I can draw some of these other shapes. I can either use the line command again, and what I can do is I can turn the wheel on the mouse or push the wheel to zoom in, and then I can come over here. Now you'll notice it's not snapping to the points here that I want it to. So I'm going to go back to my drafting settings, and I'm going to turn my snap and grid. They're pretty good, and so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to just turn on my object snap. And by turning on my object snap, I'll be able to grab the endpoints of this. So I'll say OK, but before I do, I'll turn off my regular snap. So I have object snap on, and it's set to grab the endpoints, and I've turned the regular snap off so that I can do this quickly. And so either I have to redo this so that they're on the grid squares, or I have to turn on the O snap, which then, as you can see, it grabs these corners and tells you that they're the endpoints, and that's much quicker. And so I'm going to grab the rectangle command. I'm going to hover, acquire, hover, and I can do that for this other one too. And so I can go and grab rectangle. To do this drawing right here, what I'll use is the line command. And again, I'm going to use object snaps. I'm just going to trace over that. When it comes to this point right here, I'm going to right click and hit enter or cancel. And then I'm going to draw one more line down here. And then I'm going to draw a 3-point arc. 3-point. And then I'm going to go counterclockwise. I'm going to hit the 2 endpoints. And I should have gone clockwise because it's not going to work. So let me hit escape. Try that again. 3 points. So we'll go clockwise this time. And there it goes. It's a little bit tricky. If it's not perfect like that, you can then click on it with a grip and scooch it until it looks right. And grips are a great way to work on these problems. We'll use a rectangle for here. And if you're like me, you haven't had enough coffee today, you may have to use grips to tweak that. And then to clear the grips, you can hit the escape key. Another rectangle command. Another rectangle command. Can you create half of the drawing and mirror it? Yes, there's these modify commands here like mirror. So what I could do is rather than draw this one again, I can create a mirror line from right down the center here, hit escape, and then I can say mirror, and I can put a box around these, hit enter, and what it'll tell me is that it selected 5 of these entities, and then what I'll do is I'll select the mirror line, erase source objects, no, and then I can go and remove my mirror line. And if you're not good with the modify commands, that's okay, because you can always draw it the way we did on the left side. To draw this here with the circle and the arc, what I would do is to draw a rectangle from here to here, and then I would draw a circle zooming in from here to here. And then I would trim it. And so I say trim, and the best way to use trim is to hit enter after you select the command. So starting again, I go trim, enter, and that makes any line that you hover over a cutting line. And you can kind of see it cuts it, which is what I want. Hit escape, save the file, save it, replace the X's with your initials, put it into a directory where you can find it. So I typically have a desktop, and I name them by which class. And that completes this exercise.